Shawn Ray just said that Nick Walker might not even compete at the Olympia 2025. Let's talk about that. Welcome to the Bodybuilding Authority, and today's video is the controversy surrounding Shawn Ray's comments about Nick Walker. Now, those of you who follow bodybuilding at all know that Nick Walker hasn't competed in a couple years at the Olympia. Shawn Ray did in fact predict or say that he didn't think Nick was going to make the Olympia last year, and he was right. Shawn Ray is an interesting character, and I got to say, when you look back at Shawn Ray's history, and let me just be clear on this. Shawn Ray is one of the greatest bodybuilders of all time. Now, he never won the Olympia. He competed in the Olympia a lot. I'm not even sure, like multiple times. So, well, let me just give you the rundown. His first Olympia was 1988, where he finished in 13th place. In 1990, he finished in 3rd place. 1991, 5th place. 92, 4th place. 93, 3rd place. 94, 2nd place. 95, 4th place. 96, 2nd place. 97, 3rd place. 98, 5th place, 99, 5th place, 2000, 4th place, 2001, 4th place. He retired at the age of 36 in 2001. Now, keep in mind that the 90s were probably the greatest era in bodybuilding history, the greatest open era for bodybuilding, in my opinion. I think the 90s was the greatest. Some of the greatest physiques in the history of bodybuilding were produced during that decade. And Shawn Ray was certainly a force to be reckoned with. The unfortunate thing is he was up against the likes of Lee Haney, the likes of Dorian Yates. He obviously, he didn't win the Olympia, but he will go down in history, much like Flex Wheeler, as one of the greatest bodybuilders to never win the Mr. Olympia. Now, since then, Shawn Ray has made basically a career talking about bodybuilding. A lot of times, some of his comments are controversial, but they're very honest. He doesn't sugarcoat anything. He definitely says it like it is in his opinion. And I, for one, given he's entitled to his opinion, whether you agree with it or not, he's definitely entitled to his opinion. The same way as I give praise to Big Ronnie Coleman for his opinion and his predictions yesterday, the Mr. Olympia. If you didn't watch that video, go check that video out. I basically just go over Ronnie Coleman's predictions for this year's Mr. Olympia, and basically his Olympia predictions are absolutely insane in my opinion, but those are his predictions, and his predictions are his predictions, and my predictions are my predictions, and Shawn Ray's predictions are Shawn Ray's predictions. Not that I'm comparing myself to these two guys at all, but I've been in the bodybuilding space for many, many, many years, since the late 80s, early 90s, as I mentioned, and I know a thing or two about bodybuilding. And Shawn Ray is, again, one of the greatest bodybuilders of all time. His opinion matters, whether you like it or not. Now, he's talking about Nick Walker and, Nick Walker's recent history. Now, if we go back in time and look at when Nick Walker really started to make some noise, it was 2021. He competed before that, but in 2021 is when he walked on stage at the Arnold Classic and won. That win propelled him into the elite ranks of bodybuilding. That's when everybody stood up and took notice of Nick Walker. Now, Nick Walker has some of the hardcore fans I've ever seen. He's got some fans that are loyal to Nick, that are loyal to everything he does and says. And I've made multiple comments over the years, that I didn't think Nick Walker would ever win the Mr. Olympia. Now, he didn't compete last year. He didn't compete the year before. In 2022, he got a 3rd place finish, placing behind Derek, and the eventual winner, Hadi, won it that year. So Nick Walker is a top 3 Mr. Olympia finalist. He's never won it. He says he's going to win it. I said he would never win it. But looking at the newest photos of Nick Walker and what he's bringing to the table right now, The nickname Mutant, there's a company called, like, Nick Walker is the epitome of that name. The Mutant suits him to a T because that is really what he is. He's a mutant. Now, whether you like his structure or not, I'm not a big fan of his structure. I like a classic structure like Shawn Ray. I like a classic structure like Samson. I like a good flow. I like good symmetry. Flex Wheeler, was to me the greatest physique of all time when it comes to structure and when it comes to genetics. There's some others that really, Phil Heath. There's some guys. Phil Heath in his heyday, not when he got a little longer, started to have issues with his stomach and things like that, but. The original Phil Heath, great structures. Nick doesn't have a great structure, let's be honest, but he's a mutant. He is a freak of nature. He made history in 2025, winning the New York Pro for the third time, and really, he came really close. I mean, really close to beating. The Pittsburgh Pro, if you watched it, there was a lot of controversy because Derek won it, and a lot of people thought that Nick should have won it. I'm 50-50. I think Nick looked the best he's ever looked, and I think Derek wasn't quite 100%. This is the same Derek that beat the reigning Mr. Olympia, Samson Dauda, earlier in the year at the Arnold Classic. So, Derek was on a tear. I think some of that got into the judges' brains. I think Nick Walker could have won the Pittsburgh Pro, but that doesn't matter. He didn't. He finished second. But he's on a tear. 2025 has been a good year for Nick Walker. 2025 has been a good year for Derek Lunsford. I think that Nick will make the Mr. Olympia stage this year. Shawn Ray, his comments were there's 2 weeks left and he may not make it. There's a lot of skepticism when it comes to Nick Walker just because, well, he hasn't been at the last two, but I think he's on a tear right now. I think Shawn Ray, obviously it stirred some controversy. I think that's why Shawn Ray said it. I think it's just to get some hype going. But I think there's no doubt at all that unless something dramatic happens, and I hope somebody has got Nick in a bubble right now and he's training smart and doesn't tear any muscles or have anything happen to him that can take him out of the Olympia. Because I, for one, well, not for one, there's millions of people waiting to see the mutant Nick Walker on that Mr. Olympia stage again, competing with the best on the planet, and let's see where he finishes. Now, in my video yesterday, my predictions, I said it, in a couple of videos over the last couple of weeks, I think Nick Walker is going to be top 3. I think the top 4, when you look at Nick Walker, when you look at Derek Lunsford, when you look at Samson Dauda, and you look at Hadi Choopan, it could be anybody's. Anyone could win the Mr. Olympia. They've proven that over the last, 3, 4, 5 years. Anybody can win the Olympia. Is it Nick Walker's year? I don't think so. I think Nick will come close, but I don't know that he's ready to win. I still think Samson's going to bring the best package he's ever brought, and I think it's going to be enough to win the Mr. Olympia for the second year in a row, but I could be wrong. Nick had some serious, obviously he tore his hamstring. He had time to recover from that. His prep inconsistencies before that with his old coach, he didn't quite nail his conditioning. Some of the shows he had some real issues with his gut. A lot of shows he had some issues. He seems to have that all under control now. Now, when you look at where he stands in the world of bodybuilding right now, based on his contest placings, Samson, Derek, and Hadi are all former Mr. Olympia champions. Nick Walker is not. Does that make him a 4th place contender? Yes, I would say he's in 4th place based on just that. But that doesn't necessarily translate to the stage. And like I've said a million times, it doesn't matter what you've done in the past. None of it matters. It matters what you're doing today. Is he going to show up on that Olympia stage in the best condition, the best shape of his life? Because we know he's got the size. He's got to bring that crazy conditioning. And if he can do that, will he give Samson, Derek, and Hadi a run for their money? I think he will. Derek's been very inconsistent with his conditioning. His chest still isn't where it needs to be with regards to cross strides. Hadi comes in incredible shape, conditioning all the time. But as I mentioned, Hadi is late. His prep is late. And what I mean by that is he usually shows up at least 30 days in advance, and he just showed up last week or earlier this week. So will that throw off his conditioning? Will that throw off where he's standing? I think it might. Samson, from what I've seen, is the guy that's really he's basically on track to win the Olympia again. If you look at his last guest posing, I think Samson can be a repeat champion. I think Samson's going to win. I think if Nick can come in the way that I think Nick's going to come in, it'll be close, but I think he's going to finish second. Could he finish first? Yes. Will he finish first? I don't think so. I think he's going to finish second. And I think Hadi's going to be third. And again, he will be very upset about that. But I think that's where he will finish this year, just based on the travel and based on all of that stuff that's been going on in his life. That stuff affects your body. And then Derek just hasn't been able to, Derek looked great at the Arnold, obviously. He beat Samson. He looked great at the Pittsburgh Pro. I don't know that he can carry that. Right now, based on the videos and in the photos that we've been seeing as of late, Derek's not even close to being ready. That's just my opinion, but he does have a history of that. Derek has a history of looking off going into a show and then coming into the show crazy. And I think he might do that again, but I still don't know that that's going to be enough to win the Olympia. So, do I agree? Do I disagree with Shawn Ray? I disagree with Shawn Ray. I don't think there's any doubt. I think Nick Walker's showing up. And I think Nick Walker is going to be a force at the Olympia or on the Olympia stage. And I can't wait to see that. If Shawn Ray's right, if he's right, and for some crazy reason, Nick Walker doesn't show up, then obviously I think Samson's going to win. I think Hadi will be second, and I think Derek will be third. And there's a whole host of new guys coming into the show. I did a video on that as well. Check that one out. But I think that's where it stands. I don't agree with Shawn Ray. I think that he's wrong. I think Nick Walker will show up, and I think Nick Walker will be a force to be reckoned with. Let me know what you think. Leave your comments below. I'm really interested to know, do you think Nick Walker, A, will make the Mr. Olympia in 2025? Do you think he'll be on stage in a couple of weeks? Or do you think Shawn Ray's right? Do you think Nick Walker will miss the Olympia for the third year in a row? Don't forget, check out my free cheat sheet. It's there. You can download it. It's absolutely free. Click on the link for that. Gives you a cheat sheet for supplementation and some other things in there. It's a cool little cheat sheet. Check it out. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for sharing. Don't forget to check out the next video. It's going to be a humdinger. Yeah, I said it. Humdinger. Take care, guys.